Hi guys! Okay, I totally meant to do a countdown and clicked the wrong button. But here we go. We are now back live. Hopefully this works. Hopefully the sound is better and it's not so choppy because all the numbers look better, so that's good. Hi to everybody. I'm so sorry that you guys all have to say hi again, but hi to everybody that was also in the first live event that didn't work. But yeah, sometimes you just have to close it off, count to 15, unplug it, count to 15 sort of thing, and then turn it back on. And that's all I did. I didn't do anything else to fix the internet. Nothing has changed. I just closed the program and restarted it. I don't understand technology. But anyways, hi. Welcome back to the Mega Live list. This is Tulips and Honey's Mega Live list that we do usually every Friday. This time we are doing it on a Saturday, which is, as my daughter says, a rare wildlife moment. This is my rare wildlife moment, doing a live event on a Saturday instead of a Friday. So I'm glad that you guys are all here, and I hope that we'll have a really, really fun time because I have some really cool stuff. But first, let me say hi to everybody in the comment section. So hi to my beautiful daughter, Kaylee. I should definitely open the little chat app so that I don't miss out on anybody's comments. Let's see here. Okay, it's gonna just take me like 5 seconds. I totally meant to click like the countdown button so that I would have time to open all of this stuff, and instead I hit live event button, and so I was talking and said when I meant to just be giving you guys a countdown. But anyways, hi to my sweet daughter Kaylee. Hi also to Dave from the Servants of Grace. You guys can see that over there. Also hi to Patrick from Cave to the Cross Apologetics. I literally almost said Catrick from Pave to the Cross Apologetics because sometimes that happens. Hi Gina from Through the Narrow. Also Elizabeth Prada from the End Times blog. I'm super excited to see you guys here. Also hi to Mel. I know there was a few other people in the other whatchamacallit live thing that didn't go well. So when they come back, I'll say hi to them too. But also hi Mark. I'm glad that you're here. You guys, I'm super excited about today's Mega Live list, especially now that it's actually working. That's always nice to have, it actually work whenever we go live. It's very, very weird and annoying whenever it does not work. I don't ever actually really know why it does the things it does because technology is weird. Hi, Mayoshi. I'm so glad to have you here as well. Okay, so just in case this is something that's new to you, if you're watching this and you've never seen a Mega Live list, what we do is we give shout outs, suggestions, recommendations, we do prayer requests, and sometimes I answer questions, and oftentimes I share pictures that you guys have sent me of squirrels because that's a thing that we do. And of course, this time, once again, oh, hi James, I'm glad to see you. Sorry that I had to switch over to a brand new Mega Live list, but this one's working a lot better. I've got a little green light. Hi Carla, I'm glad to have you here. So, there's my husband. Look, you guys, it's my husband. I have a sneak peek of the episode for Monday and he's totally in it. Oh, hi Michael, I'm glad that you're back over here too. Yes, this is now working. I have no idea why it's not a long time watcher, first time caller. Patrick with the funny jokes. I'd heard about the issues with crew from somewhere. I missed that comment, but I'll go back through and look. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and dive right in then. We do have some really cool questions that were sent in, and of course some super exciting recommendations that I have for you guys for things for you to read and or watch depending on what it is, because it's a weekend. But also this time, just like last week, I have a brand new Oreo flavor that Kaylee's going to come try with me. And I'm super excited because if we have to suffer, we should suffer together. And wow, I can smell the Oreo, and it's not even open. The package isn't open, but I can smell it through the package. That's concerning. This is Java chip flavored cream Oreo. The last time I could smell the flavor of an Oreo through the package like that, it was the most disgusting thing that I had ever eaten. I would rather eat pineapple pizza than the birthday flavored Oreos. They were that nasty. They just were absolutely disgusting. Hopefully these aren't going to be too bad. I hope. We'll hope. But Kaylee's going to come up here and suffer with me if they are bad. That makes me feel better because we all like to suffer together as a family here. That's what we do. So, of course, as you guys know, we try the Oreos here at Tulips and Honey, not just because Oreos are delicious and I love them, but also because I want you to not have to try the gross ones for yourself. So, it's mostly just my love for you guys that has me eating disgusting Oreos. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm on a diet and this is the only time I get to eat them. Okay, it might have a little bit of something to do with that. Maybe a little bit. But anyways, stick to the end here, you guys, if you're watching, because I do have a fun sneak peek for you for Monday's episode. I'll explain to you why the episode wasn't released on this Monday, because there was some issues there. But first, I have some squirrels that were sent in via Facebook from Peggy. Oh, are these so cute? So there was a bunch. I just picked the 4 that I liked the most because I just think this is super cute. Now, they're not, messing around with tulips, which would be pretty much perfection, but they're still really cute and really pretty, and I love squirrels so much. And I'm so thankful for Peggy sending those to me. If you guys have not already joined us on the Facebook group, I have put a link in the descriptions down below in case you guys want to join us over there. Also, you can just follow me because Peggy actually just tagged me in that. So you can follow me and send me pictures of squirrels. Nothing is going to beat the epic squirrel pic that was made for me by David from the Exposit the Word podcast, of course, or the epic skiing squirrel, which is still the reigning champion of squirrel videos because the squirrel's legitimately skiing and you can't get enough of that. That's still gonna win. But I still want you guys to try, so keep sending me your squirrels and or your fluffy sweeties because, like I have mentioned every week, which, I don't know, it's just fun. I think like Answers in Genesis, their Answers News, they start out with like fluff before they get into serious news stuff. This is like our fluff here before we get into like the serious theology stuff that we talk about later on. But so for fluff right now, because right now we have nine monsters, 9 monstrously cute, adorable monster puppies downstairs. They're so cute. They are so precious. I love them. I love them all so much. I'm not going to be just too terribly sad at this point when they have to go. But for you guys, I have a video of them each week, or pictures each week, or sometimes Kaylee brings me one up. But this time I have a video, so you don't have to bring me one up, sissy. It's okay if you don't, especially if they finally went to sleep because they've been a lot more hyper today than they usually are. But here are the puppies that we have right now. This one is sleeping, and I got a video of it moving around in its little sleep. And boom. They're way cuter when they're asleep than they are whenever they're just destroying stuff. For sure. Aren't they precious? That's my puppy update, you guys. We almost have a good home for all of them. There's just a few left that have not gotten good homes yet, but for all the rest of them, they've gotten really, really good homes, and we're really excited about everybody that is going to get to take home one of these sweet, adorable puppies. They are so cute. They really are. It's just that there's 9 of them, and they're really big now. And so it was a lot easier to pick up 9 piles of puppy poo-poo when they were littler piles of poo-poo. It was a lot easier to handle them destroying stuff whenever there was just a little bit of destruction. But now that they figured out that the puppy pads are really fun to play with, that's what they do with puppy pads. So we're working on that. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Also, hi to Chris from the Voice of Reason radio podcast. I literally almost said Godcast, which is Josh, and I'm getting you guys mixed up a little bit, but don't worry because it's just my brain continuing to malfunction, which is normal. So I guess malfunctioning with my brain is normal. Would we be concerned if my brain stopped malfunctioning? Then that would actually be a malfunction. I don't know. I'm not going to puzzle through that one. I'll let my doctors handle it if it ever happens that I manage to not have a malfunctioning brain. But for now, that's not a problem we have to worry about because we're just going to continue to malfunction. Anyways, so I do have a couple of questions that were sent in, and I'm really excited about the first one. It was posted over in our group. Mark, we don't mention Chris' name here. Poor Patrick. still fighting that fight with Kristen. One of these days, I'm going to get the two of you. Ooh, we should do that. We should have both of you on the program. And I think the two of you should have to do some kind of contest. You guys, don't you think that Patrick and Kristen should have some kind of contest on a whole show? That's what we need. That's what we need. Chris says, my brain is in a permanent state of malfunction. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Malfunctioning brains seems to be like the norm these days, you know, with genetic degradation throughout the generations. It's just expected. Each new generation has all of the genetic mutations of their parents plus all their new ones, and it's just adding on and on and on from Adam and Eve all the way down. So, I mean, eventually being malfunctioning is going to be actually the normal for everybody. We're trendsetters, Chris. We're setting the trend. And hopefully that makes you feel better, because it doesn't make me feel any better. Ooh, a trivia contest. I like it, Mayoshi. That's a really, really good idea. I love that. Okay, we'll have to get a hold of both of them and see if I can get them to do some kind of trivia contest. It would be really fun. I should do like a tulips and honey trivia contest and see which one of them has been really focusing, paying attention. I don't know. I think it would be more fun to do a Bible one, though. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go for the question. So the first question, and this one was actually put into a no hair dyeing trivia. No, Patrick, these are things you need to learn. You have little girls. You have daughters. You have to learn all of the hair trivia that you can actually learn, because she'd be torn between two colors. Two choices. Hey, wait. I'm also... Watch it, Patrick. I'll make your questions more difficult whenever we do that. Okay, so Tabby's question that she posted over in the group, and I was really excited actually, because this is something that I've been keeping my eye on and trying to understand a little bit more. I actually got to see an interview that was done with these guys, and now I cannot remember. Chris says, so grateful I have teen boys. Wow, you don't hear that very often, but you know, whenever it comes to girls and hair, I kind of understand. You know, I had to do Kaylee's softball hair each week whenever she was in softball. It just finally ended. And her hair each week for softball had to be cute, because I don't know if you guys have seen this, but softball girls, they do fun stuff to their hair. So you can't just pull it back in a little ponytail. It's got to be cute. And it was not always easy to figure out, because I don't know a lot about hair or like how to get hair to look cute. Like I can do the weird little curly thing. That's all I've got. That's the extent of my hair understanding. I gotta like go to Google and watch like 8,000 little tutorials. But thank goodness we have that, right? I mean, at least we have that, you know, available these days for you guys if you need them. There's tutorials, you know. No hair dyeing issues here, except maybe me getting this gray out of my beard. Oh my goodness, that's so funny, Chris. You know, my husband has had a little bit of gray in his beard since... Goodness, I think even when we got married, whenever he would grow it out back then, which of course he was 19 when we got married and I was 20. So you would think that at 19 that there wouldn't be a whole lot, but it's almost like a weird little blonde thing, you know, going on, where he has like multicolored hair in his beard. But since then, it's now like it's gray. It's straight up gray. Like there's no like confusing. Is this just maybe a different color? No, it's just that he's got gray hair in his beard, and it's really fun. I think it's fun. I've been trying to grow out my beard, but just the one beard hair that it just doesn't. It's not the same, you know. I wish I had some beard hair, because I think beards are just a lot of fun. But anyways, that was a squirrel. I'm gonna give you guys a squirrel. I'm gonna yell at you and yell the word squirrel while I show you this squirrel, because that's a thing that we do here. So here you go, squirrel. It's also my opportunity to take a drink because I get thirsty. Anyways. That's right, sis. We love to tease Daddy about that. He's got gray hair in his head as well, and usually like it just gets worse the more annoying we decide to be. We totally terrorize him with pretty much anything that we can. So I feel sorry for him, and you guys will see in the little video that that we do in fact terrorize him, and he puts up with a lot. He puts up with so much. Just the other day, he hates glitter. You guys, you have to understand that my amazing husband hates glitter with the kind of passion that I hate pineapple pizza. Okay, glitter to him is nails on chalkboard. And he held me down and tickled me until I peed. Okay, that is not a thing that I think should ever happen. Okay, first of all, I sneeze, and unfortunately, and all the women watching this will be like, yep, I totally understand. But if I sneeze, I tinkle just a little bit. And so it's not that difficult, but he did. He held me down until I peed. And so I went and got Kaylee and I said, sis, it's time to punish daddy. It's time to punish daddy because he did this thing. And so my amazing daughter went and got the biggest bottle of gold glitter that she had, and we dumped it all over his favorite recliner. It was fun. It wasn't fun whenever he got upset about it, but it was fun at first. While we were having the fun, it was fun. The consequences for fun is not usually as much fun, and I had to clean it. So, it's funny that all the guys are like, yes, that's right, glitter is evil. But glitter is the best. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I have no idea what's the matter with you. Glitter is the best. Oh my goodness, Chris, glitter is the unforgivable sin. That is hilarious. Even Patrick is saying glitter is harsh. You have 2 daughters. There's no way that you haven't had to deal with plenty of glitter. You only think it's fun, Lord. I know, there's something wrong with me. I don't know why he hasn't killed me so far, but I'm still alive. I look forward to the next video. I'll be back. Sorry to go so soon. That's all right, Samantha. We'll see you later. Thanks for even joining us. Okay, so the actual point, though, the question that Tabby sent into the Facebook group, which I definitely recommend you guys, if you have some cool questions, that you can join our little group and hopefully get some polite answers, hopefully. But the question is, this is so funny that there's so many guys that are really, really upset about glitter in the comments. And I'm surprised. I had no idea. I thought that he was weird for not liking glitter. This whole time I've been sitting over here thinking my husband was weird for how much he hates glitter. But maybe it really is just a guy thing. I don't know. Glitter is the Darth Maul. Nice, Dave. That is hilarious. I love it. That was funny. That was a really funny dad joke. Okay, you can't get rid of glitter. Oh no, Chris, stop using my husband's exact same arguments. He doesn't need anybody to help him with his arguments. Stop it. Actually, this was a few weeks ago, and there really still is glitter in his chair, even though I tried so hard to get rid of it. Anyways, okay, so Tabby's question is what our thoughts are on the Warrington Declaration. And hopefully you guys have heard about the Warrington Declaration. If not, I did put a link in the descriptions for you guys if you want to see what it is, what it's about. But this was actually a church that wanted to lay down their opinions and their biblical views of the current situation that we're in with the lockdowns and the mask mandates and all of that stuff. And so I, at first, whenever I saw that, I was like, we're living in a really weird world. This is such a weird world that this even has to be a thing that churches have to declare. Like, what a strange year it is that these things need to be laid down. And even as I was listening, because they have, not only is it written, but they have a little option where you can listen to each of their points. Even as I was listening to it, I was still thinking, it's so weird that they have to make these declarations, that they have to say these things was so weird, but necessary. And my thoughts about the Warrington Declaration was that I thought it was very well balanced. I feel like they covered all their bases. I think that it's a difficult topic to discuss because you're dealing with 2 sides of a very passionate argument, whether or not you should vaccinate, whether or not you shouldn't vaccinate, whether or not if you do vaccinate, should you mask up. In these sort of issues, people are literally leaving churches over this issue. And so it's a passionate issue. And I feel like they did a fantastic job of really just showing that this is an individualistic problem. So this is not a problem for like all of us to get together and decide what everybody else should do, but that each person should have that opportunity to make that decision. And so I think they did a great job. I don't think there's anything wrong with signing this declaration. I think if you are in agreement with the things that they said, that you would certainly be doing well to sign it. I definitely agreed with most of everything that I saw in there. And so I think that theologically, there wasn't anything that I saw in there that was unbiblical. They did a great job of explaining the points where you follow the jurisdiction of our rulers and the points where that jurisdiction is being sort of taken advantage of by the rulers or maybe even going against it. So I I think they did a good job. I really do. I think it was well written and well thought out, and that the theology in there is sound. I also think that the positions that they take and all of the things that they talk about are just really things that we should really be thinking about in the church. I think that each church should actually be thinking these stuff over, talking about this stuff, so that it doesn't end up with everybody leaving churches because they are either not understanding or it's all jumbled up in their brains, whatever it is. I don't know why somebody would feel the need to leave a church over masking up, unless that particular person has some sort of unless that church is being theologically unsound. And I guess there are ways that you can definitely twist things and be unsound, but I still think that this is a sad situation where there are people leaving churches over something like this. And honestly, we've been saying this for over a year now, that churches need to deal with this in advance before people get offended and leave. If you would deal with this and you explain yourself and your congregation all understands where one another stands and there is a biblical basis, you might end up not having to deal with people leaving over hurt feelings. So I feel like if churches were to take the time to really address this, and I understand not wanting to because it's an awkward, uncomfortable conversation and people really are passionate. I mean, how is it possible that I'd leave a church for those who would choose Picard over Kirk as the best Star Trek captain? Okay, I have to agree with you. I'm going to have to agree with you, Patrick. That's a pretty bad issue right there. I've not heard that there are churches out there that would really go that far as to pick Kirk over Picard. Is there even a contest there? I don't think there's a contest there. I mean, maybe if we were like, no, I can't even. Have you watched the new stuff though? I mean, because there was the new season of Picard, and it's not as good. It's not as good as the other stuff, like the old stuff. So we ended up watching all the old stuff because we were like, well, this isn't as good as the old stuff. But anyways, hi to Nani and also hi to Mel. I'm glad to see you guys here. This is a weird little squirrel that we just ran down, and it was Patrick's fault. And I wasn't even going to say anything until I saw Picard's name in the comment, and I was like, oh, I got to stop and read that. What if the pastor brought pineapple pizza for a church event? See, Mark, that's where we have to pray for one another. We have to pray for one another and really help each other with sanctification. So I would just pull that pastor aside and be like, what is wrong with you? I would pull that pastor aside and I would show him this.
What's wrong with you people?
I mean, I feel like that's all I got to do. That's all I need to say. What's wrong with you people? Seriously. Justin unfriended King. No, babe, he's saying that he likes Picard better than Kirk. He's saying he prefers Picard. So he's on your side, I think, right? Babe, you like Picard better than Kirk, don't you? Oh, honey. Please don't tell me that you like Kirk better than Picard, because you're the reason I like Picard. It was your fault. But I agree with Patrick that the new stuff is garbage. It was rough. It's just not. It's not anywhere even close to the greatness of the old stuff. So I'm now going to get emails. Oh, wait, Kirk over Picard for sure. Are you serious, Patrick? Oh, see, I misread it. I thought you were saying Picard was better than Kirk. No, I can't agree with you that Kirk is better than Picard. And I can't be friends with you anymore now. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, see, I didn't misunderstand. You're right, babe. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. There you go. On live air, I just told my husband he was right, and I misunderstood. Sorry. It's there. It's on live. We should pull this little clip, and you should hold on to that because it's the only time it's ever going to happen. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, next question that I got sent in because we've sort of squirreled here just a little bit. I need some Earl Grey. We've squirreled a little bit here, and now I'm going to get a bunch of emails about why Star Trek was written by a Satanist and all that stuff. And I'm going to forward them all to Patrick because it's his fault. It's his fault. I'm just saying. And since we did get off topic, I'm also going to show you squirrels and yell squirrel at you and get a drink while I'm doing that. So, squirrel! I seriously need just a little clip of me yelling squirrel so I don't actually have to yell squirrel each time, but I keep forgetting to do that. Anyways, okay, so this question actually came in through YouTube, and I thought this was a really, really great question because it always slips my mind that there are people who maybe don't actually understand the word phrases. Maybe they understand the phrases that aren't made of words. Ugh, I don't know why you guys watch. Anyways, maybe they don't understand all the phrases that we use and the big words and everything that happens in the Reformed community. We use a lot of big words. It gets a little bit overwhelming, I think, sometimes for people who are not aware of what's going on. I think it's really super adorable that first we had a whole argument about glitter, and now we're having an argument over Kirk and Pat and Picard. Can we not just get along? Why can't everybody just get along? It's because you guys are wrong, and my husband and I are right. So, you guys, speaking of not getting along, I have to tell you the funniest thing the other day. My husband is just sitting there, and at the time, I'm working on him to get him to come on the program. And so as I'm working on him, trying to, like guilt him, basically I'm guilting him. Okay. I'm giving him like the pouty face and the big puppy eyes. And it's not ever something he can ever resist. And so I'm working on that. And all of a sudden he's all like, I mean, we could talk about the differences between classical apologetics and presuppositional apologetics and how classical apologetics is better. No joke. He just said it. He's just sitting there all adorable. Like, and then he says something so horrible like that to me. I'm a presuppositionalist, and he knows that, and he just says that. And then him and Kaylee proceed to gang up on me and tell me all the reasons why classical apologetics is better than presuppositionalism. And I was like, boy, this is my heaven right here. This theological debate is my favorite thing in the world. Hi, Josh from Godcast. I'm glad to have you here. Okay, so currently, Josh, everybody is arguing over whether or not Picard is a better captain than Kirk. And also earlier, we had a discussion over whether or not glitter is, in fact, the devil. So that's been so far what you've missed. Now I've caught you all up. You didn't see the puppies, but that's okay. So the next question that I had sent in is, what is the Reformation movement and is it a denomination? Now, I thought this was fantastic because, like I mentioned, a lot of times we don't actually clarify all of the words because there's so many words. There's a lot of words, right? So many words that we use in, and no matter how many words that I learn, there's always more words. And as soon as I figure out the words that I'm on now, somebody drops a word that's like 5 times bigger, and I'm like, where, what, when, what, how? I don't understand any of this. I don't know what on earth is going on with all these big words. So when I saw this question, I was like, okay, I'm not doing a very good job explaining things from like a newbie's perspective, because that was the goal, right? That was the whole reason why I started a blog, was because there was all these big words, and then I wanted to do a podcast because I had a little bit of extra time, and I didn't realize that what that meant was that my little extra time would mean I would no longer get any sleep. So I don't know about the Reformation movement. The idea of a movement, usually in that phraseology, the young and reformed movement is the only kind of Reformation movement that has the word movement at the end of it. So the young and restless and reformed movement sort of slipped off into the deep end a while ago, and those that were leading it are some of the major proponents today for CRT in the reformed circles. So that's concerning. I don't know about a Reformation movement, but if we're just talking about what Reformation, what being reformed means, that's something a little bit easier for me to address. So I thought Young Restless, wasn't that a soap opera? Yes, it was, Josh. And the Young and Restless Reformed movement was quite similar in the end because it got a little cage stagey and a lot of charismatic leaning stuff and a lot of, I don't know, it wasn't the Puritans version of Reformed doctrines, right? It was definitely more of like a, I don't know, hip, young, whatever. I don't know what on earth possessed people to try to be hip and cool and make Reformed theology into something that it wasn't. But I definitely struggled with a lot of the stuff that was happening in that movement. A lot of the things that were coming out of it made me nervous. And then, of course, once CRT became the big thing, they jumped on that bandwagon hardcore. So I'm glad that I stayed away from that and preferred the Puritan type Reformed doctrinal, theological, I don't know, all the words. But being Reformed is not actually a denomination, because there are Reformed Baptists, Reformed Presbyterians, Reformed Lutherans. There are even Reformed Charismatics. So there is a doctrinal, not doctrinal division. The difference then being with Reformed people, regardless of whether or not you're being Reformed Baptist or whatever it is, never play Scrabble with someone who speaks Reformed. Thank you, Mel. You are right. That is so true. That is so true. But being Reformed means that you hold to certain doctrinal distinctions. So there's the doctrines of grace, which actually is a requirement if you're going to join our group. Being a doctor, Paul Washer spoke against this by saying something along the lines that the young restless shouldn't conform to the world but be more biblical. Thank you. That is so right, Josh. I totally agree. That's exactly how I feel about it. It was very uncomfortable, and it was happening right around the time whenever I was first starting to podcast, that I was even becoming aware of that kind of stuff, and I was like, this is not what I want the podcast to. I don't want anybody to look at this podcast and think that's where we're going with it. But there's also the 5 solas of the Reformation, and then, of course, the tulip, the acronym for tulip. So there are just doctrinal distinctions that would separate a maybe modern evangelical from somebody who would be Reformed. The Reformation happened whenever reformers like Martin Luther and, of course, Zwingli, I probably mispronounced that, Calvin, Knox, these guys, they came in and reformed the church whenever there was a difficulty in addressing church issues, because the Roman Catholic Church was sort of all-encompassing. So they pushed back, but they weren't the first people. They were the first people to push back. There were pre-reformers, of course, and then before that there were still churches that were fighting against this sinner's prayer versus God saves. Yeah, that's a good distinction as well, Patrick. There's the sovereignty, of course, of God in salvation. That's the main thing that people have a problem with. It's either the sovereignty over salvation. Do you choose Christ or are you elect? That's a big problem. And the other thing that people tend to have a problem over is the limited atonement. People tend to, even people who would consider themselves Reformed, there's like the three-point Calvinists and things to that nature, because they do tend to not particularly enjoy the discussion of limited atonement. You're right, John Huss, that is a good pre-reformer. Thank you, Mayoshi. Absolutely. So it was a movement back then, I think, for sure. It had a lot of things going on that led to the Reformation. To be considered Reformed today just simply means that we hold to the doctrines and the statements of faith, or the what is it called? It's the confessions, the old school confessions, right? So yes, sis, that is the problem, that there are some folks that think that they have chosen to be forgiven, which is a work in and of itself, and we know that we're saved by faith alone, through Christ alone. Those are 2 of the 5 solas, of course. Sola fide, sola Christus, sola scriptura, sola de gloria, which of course is my favorite, and then sola fide. Did I say that already? There's 5 of them, and so those are sort of just theological distinctions that we hold to be Reformed, but it doesn't mean that we're in a specific denomination, because unlike our Presby friends, our Presby brothers and sisters in Christ, we don't baptize babies in the Baptist Reformed churches. So, and there's some differences in Lutheran Reformed churches. So there's some slight differences in each of those, but it's also important to note that none of the reformers actually believed in the same kind of baptism that Reformed Baptists hold to. So all of the original reformers baptized babies. So there's those distinctions, and a lot of times you'll end up in a Baptist church that is leaning Reformed, and you won't even really realize it. And so there's little distinctions. I've actually talked to people who were like, I had no idea that I grew up Reformed, but I did. And now I know because I've heard all the words that people were using, and now I realize what was happening. So it's a theological distinction. But it's an important theological distinction, and also it's just super important to learn about church history. And I think that anybody who learns about the Reformation is going to be edified by that understanding. So hopefully that was a more complicated answer for that question than was necessary, because that's what you guys come here for, so I can make a long answer or short answer long. If you look at how you are forgiven by a loved one or friend, you didn't choose to be forgiven. The person who you are begging forgiveness from is in control. That's a really good point, sis. I really am shocked. You see, this is my 10-year-old making extremely good points. And she's been doing this to me since she was 4. And that's the reason why over the last 6 years since I was saved by God's grace on July 4th of 2015, she's half of the reason why I've been studying so hard, because she's super duper intense with her knowledge and questions. Bye, James. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you were here. Have a great weekend. Okay, let's see here. Next, we have, okay, those were the questions. So I do have some awesome recommendations for you guys. And then, of course, the sneak peek, which I'll tell you about because my amazing husband joined me on the program. So you guys are going to love that. It's going to be so much fun. It's Mark's fault, by the way. You guys, there was a couple of weeks ago in the Mega Live list, there was a discussion about a fun program where Mark and I think a couple others were like, you should have your husband on for that one because it's going to be a fun episode. So I used that. I used you guys saying that to be like, you have to join me on the program because people requested it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Just keep doing that, and maybe I can continue to make him. Don't forget, we are going to try the Oreos. Yes, that's right. Oh, hey, why don't you come on up here now, and we'll try the Oreos, and then I will get into all the recommendations because there's several of them, and then I will show you guys the sneak peek, and then I'll let you all go because it's it. That's it for today. But the sneak peek is going to be fun, so you can't leave for that. I'm really worried about these Oreos. Actually, I have a drink here. Do you have a drink, my sweetheart? Because you might want one. There are drinks in the little fridge that we have here. You guys, every room in our house has a little fridge in it, just in case, like in the middle of the night, we don't have to go all the way downstairs and get, oh man, these smell horrible. They smell really, really bad, you guys. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Oh man. You may have to duck down a little bit though. There you go. There you go.
They can't see me.
You gonna go to the other side?
We are so professional.
I know, we're so professional. Okay, are you ready?
Is this good?
That's perfect.
Nope.
Except for you gotta get a little closer. I can scoot over. There we go.
Can you see me?
Now I can totally see you. I mean, my microphone is a little bit in the way, but not too terribly bad. Okay, you guys, this is the Java cream flavored Oreo.
Coffee?
So it's cut. It smells really, really strong. It does. It smells really, really strong.
Okay.
You want to try it? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow.
So strong.
It's not bad tasting. It's not, at least it's not so sweet. You remember last week's was way too sweet.
Imagine taking a bite out of a straight cocoa bean.
Yep.
That's how this tastes.
Yep, that is, it's like chewing on coffee.
It is.
It's definitely like chewing on coffee. It's not bad.
Strong coffee.
I don't drink coffee anymore.
Triple shot espresso.
Triple shot espresso, that's right. Wow. So if you like coffee, you will love these. They're not too sweet. I'm glad about that. I didn't want them to be too sweet. They're actually not bad. They're not bad. They're not mega stuffed or most stuffed, which is the best, but they're okay. They're okay.
Yep.
Thanks for trying them with me.
You're welcome, friend.
I love you bunches.
I love you.
That's my daughter. My daughter, everybody.
Yay.
Yay. I need like a little pause button. Oh, I love you. Thanks for trying that with me. She's the best. She tries all the gross foods with me. Okay, so these were Mark, I'm not gonna lie, they weren't delicious or by any means. They put me on some medicine a few years back, and ever since then I haven't really enjoyed coffee. So if it's like an icy coffee, like a really, really cold coffee, I can drink it if I really need some energy. But for a long time, and I started out drinking coffee at the age of 10. And from 10 years on, that was the first thing I did every morning was drink coffee. And then a few years ago, the medication that they put me on just made me not like it anymore. And so that's probably why I didn't like it very much. I bet you I would have loved it a few years ago. But it was strong. It was strong. I think if they'd just done a little bit less in way of coffee flavoring, it wouldn't have been so bad. Whew. Like I can still just, that's all I can taste right now is coffee. But at least it does taste like coffee. It doesn't taste like chemicals. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of a chemical-y aftertaste to it, but it's nothing like the birthday cake. The birthday cake one will forever go down in history as the grossest, most disgusting cookie ever invented. I'm sure that you took advantage of the free coffee at church in your Word of Faith days. Mark, you know I did. Yeah. Sometimes the churches that we went to in our Word of Faith days had where you had to pay for it. They had like a coffee house kind of thing on the inside, and you had to go and pay. And then they had like their books and their shirts and stuff, so that you could buy all of their stuff. It was not as much fun as the free coffee and free donuts, but I definitely did drink a lot of coffee back then. It's all in my teeth. It's very coffee-y. It's very coffee-ish. I can't get it out. I can't get the taste out. Ugh. Okay. So the recommendations that I have for this week. The first one that I want to tell you guys about is actually, and I don't know if Gina is still in the comments, but she was in here earlier in the comment section, and Gina wrote a fantastic article. So in case you guys are unaware, over on the blog we have Through the Narrow, which is every other Tuesday sometimes. Not coffee is gross. Couldn't get me to eat a coffee cookie. It's worse to eat it. I'm not gonna lie, Chris. It was worse to eat it. It's just not natural. Ugh. How old is he? Oh, sorry, y'all are talking about something else. Hi Gina, you are still in the comment section. Well, you wrote a fantastic article, and Gina and Tammy write for Through the Narrow over on the blog, and they do an absolutely fantastic job. Absolutely fantastic. They're the best article writers. That's not the right way to put it. They're just the best. They're absolutely the best. They do so much research and they put so much effort into their articles that it's just absolutely phenomenal. Oh, hi, Betsy. I'm glad to have you here. Just happened to stumble upon it during recovery from surgery. And oh my goodness. Thank you, Betsy. I am so blessed to hear that. That is just incredible. Thank you. Also, I hope you're doing well recovering from surgery. If we can be praying for you, let us know. We'll talk about some prayer requests in just a minute. I still can't get the taste of the coffee out of my mouth, you guys. I can't. Wow. It's still there. Wow. Oh, man. That's funny. We did 6 espresso shots at 6 a.m. That's funny. That is really, really funny. That was definitely me for a really, really long time. Coffee was my life. If I was going to have Christmas morning, it was going to be after I'd had a pot of coffee. So it's weird now not to wake up and do that. Even still, because you wake up cold each morning and you're like, I need something warm, and I just can't. I can't even force myself to drink it if it's hot. I can drink the cold stuff, but that doesn't help. If you're cold in the morning, it doesn't help. And coffee didn't give me energy anyways, so probably because I drank too much of it. But anyways, so I wanted to recommend Gina's article. It is about CRT in CRU. So CRU, I guess, is probably how you would pronounce that. But that is I still know them by their old name, which I'm really thankful that actually Gina explains the name changes in the article. But it was of course now I can't remember. Is Campus Ministries, right? And so Campus Ministries International or something, Christian Campus Ministries International. And I even interviewed someone that worked there for CRU that was working with Wretched Radio to produce some stuff. But recently they have definitely taken, there are a few folks out there that were solid that have just sort of dipped their toes into CRT. That's not what CRU did. They just they head dived into it. So Gina does an absolutely fantastic job in this article. If you've been hearing about this issue, if it's been something that you've seen in your social medias or heard people discussing it and you don't really understand what's going on, Gina's, Campus Crusades. Thank you, Mayoshi. Gina did a fantastic job laying it all out and explaining exactly what was going on, which of course is something that they do every time that they write an article. Every article that they write is so incredibly detailed with every bit of information that you need to make sure that what you're being told is accurate. And it's something that I absolutely adore about their writing, is that they are very cautious and conscientious to make sure that they're not writing anything that's not true. And so I'm super thankful for that. And it really helped me personally try to understand what was going on, because I was really, really confused with the whole issue. There were so many people saying so many different things. So I'm really glad that that I had that article. So I linked that down below. I also linked down below to the final episode over on Caves Across Apologetics of Why Should I Believe Christianity by James Anderson. So if you guys don't know, Patrick and Tony from Caves Across Apologetics, they do what's basically essentially in a really, really super cool podcast form, a book club. So each week they go through a chapter of a book and they explain what's happening in the book, and it's super helpful because a lot of these books are philosophical, and that's something that is really confusing to me, and I need somebody to help me understand. Or there's these great big meanings behind things that I have a hard time in my brain putting things together. So, new book announcement on Wednesday. That's very exciting. I can't wait. Do all of us Patreons get an early announcement? Because I'm a Cave to the Cross Apologetics Patreon, and I think you guys all should too, because that's one of my favorites. Okay, another thing that I linked to down below is, I gotta take a drink real quick. Okay, sorry. It's the coffee flavor. It's still there, and it's just wreaking havoc on my taste buds right now, because it won't go away. It's only chemical taste now, you guys. It's the chemically aftertaste, and soda seems to be making it worse. So the next thing that I linked to down below is actually where did it go? Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so this one is, and I think he was in the comment section. He might still be over there, but Dave Jenkins from Servants of Grace. All the words, because all I can think about is this horrible taste, this horrible taste. So what I've linked to down below is, what is church membership and why does it matter to me? Which I think right now is currently a really big issue. I think I heard a statistic that 50% of people who are who had to stop going to church because of COVID have still said that they don't really feel like going back to church, or that they don't have plans to go back to church. So 50% is a massive number, and I know a lot of people who are concerned by the lack of attendance in their churches each week. So definitely a fantastic thing, a fantastic resource for you guys on this about why it's so important. I linked to that down below. And another really, really great resource for you guys if you want to learn some really cool stuff this weekend is Bible Contradictions by Jimmy from Veritas Domain. So Pastor Jimmy, of course, I had him on the program before, and we actually just talked about Bible contradictions whenever he joined me on the program. It was before we were doing video, so it's actually just in the podcast form. But he did a fantastic job of explaining how there's actually not any contradictions in the Bible, and whenever you look through them, it's pretty clear and obvious. But this one is actually, because each time he does a different contradiction brought up in the Atheist Bible, I think is the book and what it's called. And so he's addressing each one. I think there's 400. I'm not exactly sure the numbers now, of course, because it just escaped my brain as soon as I wanted to think about it. But this particular one that I linked to down below is who brought Joseph into Egypt. And so he deals with each of these accusations essentially against Scripture. And I'm super thankful for that, because these are things that if you're evangelizing or sharing the gospel with atheists in any sort of situation, you're going to hear this a lot. It's the number one thing that I hear from people. Oh, but there's contradictions in the Bible, so how do you know any of it's true? And then whenever you say what contradictions, the ones that if they do know any by heart, the ones that they usually bring up are very easy to explain and show that they're not actually contradictions, that this isn't even what a contradiction is. That's not what the word contradiction means. So he does a fantastic job of that. I just wanted to make sure to link to that down below, just in case you guys have that problem, so you can check that out whenever you get a chance. The last thing that I have for you guys for a recommendation, this is really cool. Are you guys ready for this? Because this is super duper cool. I didn't even know this was a thing. I had no idea this was a thing. But apparently, sometimes TMS, the Master's Seminary, does free courses. I had no idea that was a thing, but they do. They totally do. And they right now currently have a free course on hermeneutics available, which I just think is super fun. So that is linked in the descriptions down below in case you guys want to check that out. I saw that on the Facebook group of Women's Hope, the Women's Hope podcast, which is of course the only women's podcast that is sponsored by the Master's Seminary and Master's University, I believe. Let's see here. Hopefully postmodernism, my comment in the hub request fourth live can be touched on in a future stream. Oh, fiddlesticks, I didn't see it. No, I will definitely check that out. Is that on, Holly, is that in the Facebook group or in my Facebook page? I mean, those two are kind of confusing. I changed the colors on them so that one is pink, salmony, and the other one is blue, but it's still a little confusing. Let me know where that is, and I'll make sure that I address it next week for sure. And I'm so sorry that I didn't see that in time for this one. So that's all of my recommendations that I have for you guys. I do have a couple of prayer requests that I wanted to mention. Okay, Holly, I will definitely check that out. I'm sure you already tagged me in it. I don't know why I didn't see it. Sometimes Facebook is really obnoxious like that, and I don't see things for a long time. But the first prayer request that was mentioned here is actually from Mark, so hopefully he's still in the comment section. Mark said there is the company that he was supposed to have a meeting with for work that morning, I guess was yesterday morning, or was it this morning? They had to cancel the meeting because there was a death in the family of one of the employees. And I think, if I remember right, that you said it was the wife of the employee. So if you guys could be praying for that family and for all of those involved in that, that's always something that's very, very difficult. And Mark, we're going to be praying for you and for that family. The second thing that I wanted to mention to be praying for you guys, if you haven't already heard, there is another little kid in England who is being told, well, okay, her parents, let me see if I can, I'm sorry, I'm still struggling with this taste, you guys. I'm sorry. It's hard to focus whenever the taste just won't go away. There is another little kid in England that is being threatened with what is the word for not euthanasia. She's very ill, and the parents do not want her to be taken off of medical treatment, but the hospital has basically decided that they're going to let the little child die because of whatever weird reasons they feel like. I have absolutely no idea why anybody would think that was okay. And so if you guys could join me in praying for that family. I believe they're Jewish, and so if you guys could join me in praying that this is something that can lead them to faith in Christ, and also be praying for our brothers and sisters in Christ over in England. That's scary. That even though the parents have said no, that's not what we want to have happen to our child's treatment. That they've been told otherwise. For sure, that's really, really frightening. A little bit of good news to go alongside something that's sad is that there was a case being brought up in Ohio, Iowa. I think it was either Iowa or Ohio, but it was a college, and the college had told a Christian group that they could not continue meeting if they were not willing to open up their rules to allow anybody to be in leadership of this Christian group, even though they had rules to make sure that there was nothing happening that was unbiblical, going on. So they took the college to court, right? So there was a lawsuit about whether or not they had the freedom to have a religious gathering and a conscience. And the court actually sided against the college and for the group. I thought that was fantastic. And the judge said this was obviously, oh, thank you, University of Iowa. Thank you, Mayoshi. The judge said it was actually like the most obvious case of discrimination that he had ever seen. I think that is so exciting to see a judge use words that harsh against something like this. It's a shame that it took 3 years and that for 3 years they couldn't meet the way that they wanted to meet. But I am so thankful because each time a judge sets a precedence like this, it helps in future cases. So I was really, really glad to see that. But please be praying for that family over in, that's funny. That's not Squirrel. That's so funny. I love it. I absolutely love it. You guys, I have a new shirt. I can't wait for it to come in, but I actually did create a shirt with the squirrel picture repeated over and over again all over the shirt. Like it's just the shirt is covered in our squirrel picture. Oh, wrong button. Sorry. And I can't wait for you guys to see it whenever it finally gets here. Okay, so that's it. That's all I have besides the sneak peek. So now I will tell you guys about what happened last week with the episode and why we had to re-record it. And I'm so thankful that we re-recorded it because it's way better with my husband in it. So I wanted to do an episode about Christian cliches, phrases that are actually not biblical that people think are biblical. In fact, one of them is actually like 50 some odd % of Christians, professing Christians, thought that this phrase was actually a scripture. Literally thought that it was a scripture. Chris, you didn't see it earlier, but I actually accidentally hit the live event button instead of the countdown button when I was still standing all the way over here and wasn't even sitting down yet. So yeah, I need to go a little easy on the buttons and really be careful how I click. But so the whole episode is we went through 7 different Christian cliches, and it was really fun because my husband is hilarious, and he also took like amazing notes whenever I convinced him to do this. And he was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then he went to work and he came home with like 3 pages of notes and just the coolest information about each of these. It was so much fun. And I was like really, really excited. And then I was just like instantly like, we need a podcast with just you and me because these notes are epic. And I just want you to constantly podcast with me. So keep bothering him about podcasting with me because he's hilarious and fantastic. And I'm about to show you guys a sneak peek. This will come out on Monday. I couldn't post it over on last Monday because I realized after I had recorded that I had left out half of what I wanted to say. So it was like, I'm now going to have to re-record. But by the time I realized that, it was too late to re-record for Monday's episode. So I'm glad it worked out like that because this is going to be even more fun. So here is the sneak peek. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, a great day of fellowship tomorrow, and I will see you all next week. I love you, Humblebees. Bye, guys. Okay, so what is the first Christian cliche that we're going to be talking about?
God will not give you more than you can handle.
Ooh, that one. That's a rough one.
That's a rough one.
It's a really
one word.
One.
Well, 2 words. Job, spouse.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I had to do it. You're too much. God, please.
You pointed even at me. You guys. That is horrible.
Let's focus more on Job here.
No,
we'll save Job.
I don't think so. Your second example for how God doesn't give you more than you can handle is your spouse.
I'm sorry, Lord. Please forgive me.
I've told people on this program more times than I can count that I feel sorry for you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Everybody already knows that that's true because if it's not that I'm like, I don't know, giving myself second degree burns with. Right.
Well, sometimes I don't know that I just think you're just nuttier than a fruitcake, and that is an actual diagnosis because I am a healthcare professional.
You are a healthcare professional, and so
I'm not a doctor, but I'm a healthcare professional. I can give out diagnoses.
Can you?
No.
About mental health? I mean, I know you can do it for what?
Only my own.
Only your what?
Only my own mental health.
Well, I mean, it is true though that spouses are difficult, and
yes, I know I'm difficult too sometimes.
It's actually like a really great point of sanctification is dealing with somebody else 24/7. You have to constantly be considering somebody else's feelings, somebody else's opinion.
Right.
That can be really, really difficult. And God does use that in our lives to help with sanctification. But it is a wonder that we didn't kill each other within the first year of our marriage.
To that. Yeah. Well, that first year was really tough. And then the 7th, people say you get the 7-year itch. I was just so much happier in our marriage by the 7th year that I just could not get enough of you. But the first year was really difficult for both of us. Yeah. I'm a very difficult person to just live with in general.
It's
But
men in general, it must just be a man thing because every other wife that I've talked to, I'm like, okay, but does your husband use your deodorant so that he can save his own?
And does it leave armpit hair on the top?
Oh, that's the worst.
It
Every
does.
single
Yep.
wife I've talked to has been like, yep. And also he shaves with my razor, and I'm like, thank goodness we're reformed.
Yes, Lord.
And we don't allow beard shaving in this house.